Hello, 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 everyone. Dr. Rowena Winkler here, and happy new moon in Virgo. As you can see, this new moon is happening, I guess, technically tomorrow, but tomorrow, very, very early in the morning, 4:17 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know about y'all, but I will certainly not be awake. So I figured we would get this practice in tonight so that you have what you need to either do this in the morning or sometime throughout the day, or even tomorrow night if you so choose. So as per usual, let's go ahead and get started and talk about what the energy of Virgo is, what this new moon means, and then do some card pulls and fun updates. And for those of you that are new, this moon practice is for the Inner Muse membership. The IMM is a monthly membership where you will get full moon and new moon practices, a masterclass, and VIP access to all of the digital content and offerings that I've made in the past year and a half or so when I've built this business. So for only $33 a month, you can be a part of this amazing community. So if you're interested to learn more, feel free to let me know. Alrighty, let's get into it. So Virgo. So Virgo energy, the thing about Virgo is I think Virgo tends to be one of those signs that can be misunderstood. They are an earth sign. Virgo can be seen as the perfectionists of the zodiac. So they have this structure, this organization to them. And so when we think about calling in this new moon, and especially since we're currently in Virgo season, which I feel is beautiful timing now that we're moving out of the summer and into the fall, consider and think about how are you restructuring your daily habits, because Virgo also rules the sixth house, which deals with your daily routines, self-care, that sort of thing. So what are some ways that after thinking about how you go about your day, how, what your day-to-day habits are, what stays and what needs to go? And then because Virgo has this structured, organized energy, there's this question of how can you harness that, right? How can you harness that energy to move toward your goals? Virgo is definitely the sign that gets shit done. So think about, what were your 2022 goals? And as we move into the last quarter of the year, which blows my mind, so hard to believe that we're the last quarter of the year, we're moving toward that. Like, what are those goals that you need to get a move on? I know for me personally, I moderate a clubhouse room through the House of Influence. We call ourselves the Affirmation Aunties, and actually we're going to pull from my affirmations deck today. That's one of the decks I selected for our card pull. And I talked about, one of my goals for 2022 was to get more speaking gigs. And, I had my TEDx, and that was a huge deal in April. But and I've gotten here and there, but I feel like I've just been stagnant with that. And finally, I think it took like Virgo season for me to finally like, okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to make these connections, and things are starting to finally fall into place. So think about that. What are some goals that you had for this year, and how can you move toward them? And then, as I mentioned, Virgo energy, they are the organizers. Like they are the ones that have the labels. They're like the Santiago for any Brooklyn Nine-Nine folks out there. Like that's Virgo. Virgo is the Santiago, like binders, all like the tabs. How can you get more organized in any area of your life? So, maybe not just with work, or maybe it's in your home, maybe it's in your business, maybe it's with your relationships. How can you get more organized and harness that Virgo energy? And then, going along the lines of this sixth house energy, which is all about caring for yourself and these routines, what can you do now that we have this opportunity to reset? How can you refresh and renew your spirit? What does that look like? What do those practices look like for you? I know for me personally, I'm getting back into a yoga practice, which, gosh, for the longest time, I was so good about it. And again, like, no shame. Like, I'm going to give myself grace with that. There's been a lot going on. We had a busy summer, But now that, again, we're getting into the fall, we're transitioning into the season, I'm getting back into being in my body and doing a morning yoga practice. And that's been really powerful. And I just realized like how stiff I had been because I've been like just chilling, like so sedentary. So that's been awesome. And getting back into my daily meditation practice, which I've been pretty good at for, the past several months, but because August was so busy, crazy with all these vacations and whatnot, I kind of fell off the wagon with that. So I'm getting back on and doing those practices. So like, what are you going to do that's going to get you back into refreshing and renewing your spirit? So that's Virgo for you. Now let's move on to new moon and new moon energy. What's powerful about, I don't know, my nose is so itchy. Huh. New moon energy it's all about new beginnings. So if there is a time that you need to, again, reset, refresh, new moons, this energy is here for it. As I mentioned, the shadow side of Virgo is this perfectionism. And the thing about Virgos, which, they're very blunt and they can project that perfectionism onto other people, right? So where can you release the perfectionism? Where are you being hard on yourself? Where are you feeling not enough? And how can we reflect on that to release that and know that, this life, this opportunity we have is to experiment and to have fun, right? And not to feel like we have to be perfect at everything all the time. And then again, with this new moon, like what needs to begin again? As I mentioned, I've refreshed some of my morning practices. What needs to begin again in terms of goal setting, or in terms of getting organized, in terms of relationships, in terms of the work that you need to do in your zone of genius, or moving toward what you feel is like your soul purpose? What needs to begin again? And then considering, right, that when it comes to new beginnings and the intention setting, right, because that's also what new moons are amazing for, is setting those intentions for what you want to happen in this next lunar cycle. How can integrating more structure and engaging with more organization, how can that best serve you? And as I mentioned, in what areas of your life would that best serve you, right? So thinking about that, and then talking about the goals, as I mentioned with Virgo energy, what is it that you desire? What is it that you want to move toward? What is it that you want to take inspired action steps? Because baby, Virgo energy is the energy to do that. If there's something that you want to get done, Virgo is going to give you that clarity on the steps to get there. So that is the new moon. Okay. So as I mentioned, we got 2 decks today. The affirmations deck, which, yeah, okay, we'll do that one first. I was going to do that one second, but now we're going to do it first. That's what I'm feeling called to do. This is the message for the community. Okay. Oh, beautiful. I've pulled this card before, and I feel like it's very appropriate for Virgo. Um, the card is called Feminine. And I think what I'll do in the YouTube notes, because I usually put the message in there, I think I'll link to, I did a reel with this card. Feminine, a soft strength, an intuitive knowing, a sultry dance. This, my dear, is your feminine. Feel the essence of her divine, subtle power. She lives within you, always knowing exactly what you need to do, or where you need to go. She's within you, my love, begging for you to soften and dance in her ways. Do not doubt her, dear one. There is no need to shy away, for there is wisdom in this grace. that will never lead you astray. I feel like that's such a beautiful message. That's like the mission behind this, friends. Like the IMM and everything that I'm feeling called to do in this work, in my business, is like tapping into that feminine, not being afraid of it, not feeling like it's inhibiting, but finding the strength and power in that. So I love it. I loves it. And then the other deck for the card pull was Soulful Woman, which I feel, again, fits the vibe of Virgo. So let's see. Maybe my nose will stop being itchy. Ooh, okay. Being with discomfort. At times of discomfort, I courageously seek my soul essence, which is clear, pure, and luminous. Ooh, I was just talking about that, right? Like, all right, let's see what we got here. Beneath any pain I may feel, my soul essence awaits me. When I'm stirred up, hurt, or thrown off balance, I resist running away from my tears or anger. Instead, I allow myself to sink deeper and deeper within myself, and a shift inevitably takes place. I reach my inner light, pure and luminous, still there, still intact. It is as pure as the day I was born, shining, resilient, brilliant like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. I'm gonna link that too. Wowie kazowie. I feel like I was just reflecting on this in terms of, for a lot of us, the journey isn't so much trying to find ourselves, it's more rediscovering ourselves. I call it the inner muse, right? It's tapping into who we know we truly are authentically and getting rid of the distractions and the armor and the masks and the projections and the roles that are not truly us, and feeling okay in our skin to walk around and hang out as our truly authentic selves, right? And I think this card talks about how that's not always easy. It can be uncomfortable. It can bring up a lot of emotion, and it can stir up a lot of things. It causes you to look at your own shit. But at the end of the day, like, you're brilliant. You're sparkly and shiny just as you are. And again, it's like this intuitive knowing, like that's Virgo, right? Virgo has her shit together because she's always had her shit together. She like knows, she knows what's best. She knows what's the best path forward. And that's divine feminine incarnate. That's the embodiment that I believe a lot of us are working toward. So if you have any questions or comments about that, feel free to let me know. And then let's move into our last bit, which is reminders. Okay, so a couple of things. The masterclass for August is Vocalize Your Worth workshop. I am super behind with all of the things. So I will get more information on that out to y'all, hopefully, early next week. But essentially, it is a masterclass about the job market. So it is, this is speaking, right? So how to use your voice when it comes to the interview process. Oh, no, excuse me, the elevator pitch to get you to the interview process to get you to negotiating with an offer. So some tips and tricks on how to do all of that. And then September 9th, 9922, we have the full moon in Pisces. Listen, I got my aquamarine on today. Like, I'm pumped. You know me, I'm a proud Pisces. So we have that happening. The end of the month, next month, we have a new moon in Libra, and then the masterclass for September is tied to the intuitive copywriting workshop that I did back in June. It's like, what was that? June, July? Um, it is actually from feedback from a friend, from a colleague, diving a little bit deeper on how to uh, think about and create and utilize CTAs or calls to action in your marketing and messaging. So yeah, don't miss that. That should be a ton of fun. And that's what we got going on for today. It's always such a delight to share wisdom with all of you. And stay tuned. We'll have the September calendar and the opening video message and the what else do we have going on? And all the information for this will be there as well. So if you need anything, feel free to share this with your friends, because we're now moving into the next 3-month cycle for folks that are interested in the IMM. Have a wonderful night. Happy new moon. And I will talk to you soon. All right. Take care.